Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to say before and after. So first, let's learn how to say before. To say that something happens before something else, you're going to need the word 전, which means before. So to use it, use the word 전, meaning before, after a noun, followed by the particle 에. This means before noun. For example, 시험 전에 공부를 했어요. I studied before the test. The noun used here can also be an action verb changed into a noun using the key form. For example, 시험을 보기 전에 공부를 했어요. I studied before taking the test. So now that we know how to say before a noun or even before a verb, let's take a look at several example sentences using this form. 그 전에 만날 수 있을까요? Could we be able to meet before that? 3시 전에 오세요. Come before 3 o'clock. 점심을 먹기 전에 손을 씻고 싶어요. I want to wash my hands before eating lunch. 친구를 만나기 전에 설거지를 해 주세요. Please do the dishes before you meet your friend. 출발하기 전에 짐을 쌌어요. I packed the luggage before I departed. 운동하기 전에 바나나랑 오렌지를 먹었어요. I ate a banana and an orange before exercising. To say after, or to say that something happens after something, use the word 후, meaning after. But this works slightly different when used together with verbs. But here first is how to use it with nouns. To use it, attach 후, meaning after a noun, followed by the particle 에. This means after noun. For example, 수업 후에 공부를 할 거예요. I will study after class. But to use it with an action verb, it's a little bit different. First, get the stem of an action verb. Then attach 은, 후, if it ends in a consonant, or attach a ni은, followed by 후, if it ends in a vowel. Then attach the particle 에. For example, 수업을 들은 후에 공부를 할 거예요. I will study after I have class. And for verb stems that end with the consonant lir, remove the lir, and then attach ni은 followed by 후에. So now that we know how to say after a noun or after an action verb, here are some example sentences. 오늘 5시 후에 시간이 있을 거예요. Today I will have time after 5 o'clock. 영화를 본 후에 친구랑 놀러 갔어요. I went to hang out with a friend after seeing the movie. 도착한 후에 전화 주세요. Give me a call after you arrive. 알바를 시작한 후에 돈을 벌기 시작했어요. After I started the part-time job, I started to earn money. Note that 알바 is just a shortened version of the same word 아르바이트. 집 주소를 적은 후에 전화번호도 적어주세요. After you write down your home address, please write down your phone number too. 한국말을 배운 후에 일본어를 공부하고 싶어요. After I learn Korean, I want to study Japanese. But there's one more way to say after, and we've actually already learned it, and that's by using the regular 고 form. If you remember, the 고 form can mean and or and then after doing something. So you can also use this form just to say that you did something after doing something else. For example, 저는 밥을 먹고 운동을 할 거예요. I will eat a meal and then exercise. Or I'll exercise after eating a meal. 저는 공부를 하고 시험을 봤어요. I studied and then took the test. Or I took the test after studying. So now it's your turn to get some practice with these forms. I have 8 sets of 2 sentences that are unconjugated, and I want you to combine them together using either after or before, and you can combine them any way you'd like as long as it makes sense. So you can pause the video here and give it a try. So here are some possible answers, but your answers may be different. 뉴스를 보기 전에 쓰레기를 버려주세요. Please throw away the trash before watching the news. 카메라를 사기 전에 돈을 모을 거예요. I will save up money before buying a camera. 그림을 그리기 전에 연습을 할 거예요. Before I draw a drawing, I will practice. 나가기 전에 지도를 보고 싶어요. I want to look at a map before I go out. 밥을 먹은 후에 놀러 가고 싶어요. After I eat something, I want to go to hang out. 아파트를 찾은 후에 침대를 살 거예요. I will buy a bed after I find an apartment. 문을 닫은 후에 열쇠를 주세요. After you close the door, give me the key. 에어컨을 켠 후에 1시간을 기다리고 끄세요. After you turn on the air conditioner, wait 1 hour and then turn it off.
뉴스를 보기 전에 쓰레기를 버려주세요. 카메라를 사기 전에 돈을 모을 거예요. 그림을 그리기 전에 연습을 할 거예요. 나가기 전에 지도를 보고 싶어요. 밥을 먹은 후에 놀러 가고 싶어요. 아파트를 찾은 후에 침대를 살 거예요. 문을 닫은 후에 열쇠를 주세요. 에어컨을 켠 후에 1시간을 기다리고 끄세요.
But before we go, I want to share 2 more ways that you might see to say after, and these work the same way as 후에, but only with action verbs, and these are 뒤 and 다음. Here are some examples. 뒤, meaning behind, can become 뒤에. So you could say, 아침을 먹은 뒤에 친구를 만나러 갔어요. After eating breakfast, I went to meet a friend. 다음, meaning the next, can become 다음에. For example, 아침을 먹은 다음에 친구를 만나러 갔어요. After eating breakfast, I went to meet a friend. So in this lesson, we learned how to say before as well as several ways to say after. So practice all of them before moving on, and I'll see you again in the next lesson. 그럼 다음에 또 봐!